behold what may be one of the most incredible record player presentations I have ever seen. I've had a lot of fun reading this box. Some of my favorites parts of this include vintage and fashion combination. I always love stereo speaker. I don't know what that's supposed to be. This is the Digitnow Max Pad LP, wooden wireless turntable converter, and it features an anti-skipping needle cartridge. And then if you look down here, it says, read stable, not hurt the record. It is Bluetooth transmitting, 3-speed turntable. Looking on the side, again, we are pointing out the anti-skipping needle cartridge, which apparently is located somewhere on the front of the platter. Actually, no. Apparently, the anti-skipping needle cartridge is the dust cover as you and I know it. Looking around to this side, we see the content list, as well as a friendly ask for sharing this on your socials. Looking on the back, it does come with Audacity. It's got instructions for playing a record down at the bottom of the box, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen instructions for playing a record on the box. Number 8 being my favorite because of the fact that it tells you what to do at the end of the exposure. Very interesting. So yeah, this should be a fun one. I'm pretty sure, just by judging on looks alone, that this is an Ion type of turntable and perhaps rebranded. I'm not sure who makes the Ion products. I want to say Leetac, but I could be wrong on that. I am not sure. Because of the fact it does have Bluetooth, we could do a lookup and actually find that out. One final thing here on the box, if you look at the cartridge itself, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's some sort of ceramic. And I'm not sure if that's a cover on there or a guard. There's no finger lift. This ought to be very, very interesting. So let me go ahead and open it up and let's see what's inside. All right, so in the box, we've got this bag here that looks to have an audio cable, 1/8-inch RCA audio cable, USB cable, CD-ROM that probably has Audacity, although you can always get Audacity for free online, and a manual as well, multi-language. We've got the DC power supply and then the turntable itself. So let's go ahead and pull this out. We have reviewed Ion stuff recently, and it can be good. So I'm curious, and I say Ion because I think that this is in all likelihood probably made by the same third-party company that makes the Ion product line, just based on the design itself. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the packaging on this. It's got a bag around the unit, foam blocks, and these types of turntables are pretty cool looking. I think they look pretty dang cool. Lifting up the lid, we've got these foam blocks here, always placed just kind of to support the platter. And again, this looks like a familiar mechanism, but there are some variances here. Oh, this is interesting. So this is a completely different head shell design than what we saw on the box. So that is your standard Chuo Denshi type. However, it looks like the stylus has a drop-down guard on it, which is cool. So yeah, let me go ahead and kind of unwrap things and we'll take a closer look. Okay, and here we go. So we've got the 2 stereo speakers, plural, right there with some chrome trim. This knob here is a plastic knob. It says minimum max volume, but it's not a power switch. So I think that must be in the back. There's also a power Bluetooth light. We'll look at the cartridge, Tonearm stuff in a minute. The platter is, that typical Skywind type, but unlike the last one, this one has the usual 3 points of contact. That last one had 4, which was really strange. This will be belt driven for those of you that aren't already aware, and then there's a motor back over there. But what drew my eye is this strange little blemish down here. Let's look at that closer. Now, this is a veneer. This is probably a particle board of some sort, although it does have texture to it. So it's not just like a wrap on a piece of wood. It just genuinely feels wood-ish, although it is a bit of a strange color. This has got me puzzled, though. It looks like something happened, and instead of just throwing away this particular unit and chalking it up to a fault on the production line, they've taken this sticker and put it over the top and kind of sort of tried to match up the grain pattern it looks like. I've never seen anything like that. I'm half tempted to take that sticker. Okay, I'm going to do it. Let's see what is under. It has to be a sticker. And what are they trying to cover up? I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like there's some grooves down here. Could they have possibly been trying to cover that up? I mean, obviously it looks better without anything. Now there's a couple remnants there I need to scratch off still, but there's no blemish so far as I can tell. So here's the gimbal for the Tonearm assembly. Let's give it the little shaky test. Pretty loose. I mean, this one is pretty cheap, although it did pass QC, as you can tell by the sticker there. This does have the lift, which is nice. Helps if you unclip it. So yeah, you can lift it. Oh man, that release is brutal. It just drops like a rock. There's a little bit of a damped descend, but not much. Lift shelf is going to be loose plastic. I mean, you could still lower it slowly, like that intentionally. But if you just flip it, it should go down a little gentler than that. This is a 3-speed turntable, so you're going to see the switch there for the 3 speeds, as well as the auto on and off, the clip for the Tonearm, and the Chuo-Denshi cloned cartridge. Let's take a look at the needle and see how good of one this has been equipped with. And I'm glad it does have the finger lift on the cartridge, because the mock-up in the photograph had all kinds of weird stuff going on. So let's take a closer look at the underside of this cartridge. Okay, so this is the cheaper variant in that it does have the plastic cantilever. You can see the reddish hue to the stylus itself. It is sapphire tip. Although it does have this protective drop-down guard, which is kind of cool, I guess. You can and should upgrade the stylus on this, which would be the red housing and the stylus therein, to a diamond one with a metal cantilever. That will definitely be recommended, and I can tell you that without even turning the unit on. It's sort of like the low-yield printer cartridges that you get when you buy a printer that can print like 20 sheets and then need to be replaced. Consider this like that. You can play a couple of records, maybe 20 records, and then by then you should have a replacement in hand. It's just that the sapphire tips just wear out sooner. They just wear out faster. It's not as hard of a substance as diamond. And don't be put off by the word diamond, because diamond styli are still very, very cheap. I'm talking like 3 for $5 cheap. So need to get one of those in there for sure. Okay, the bottom of the unit is simply a plastic shell. It's got 4 feet, which are a rubberized plastic. There are 3 access points for controlling the speed accuracy of the 78, 33, 45. Unfortunately, there's nothing behind those knockouts. There's simply empty holes into nothing. So that is a huge bummer. Do not like that. This, by the way, is the model M513A. On the bottom sticker, it says multifunction record player. Okay, let's look at the back. On the right, we've got the power switch on and off, the 12-volt power supply. And you may be saying to yourself, why is it requiring 12 volts? It doesn't have a magnetic cartridge. Ceramic usually takes a 5-volt power supply. Well, it's because of the speaker. So there's an amplifier in there. How good of an amplifier, we'll see. This does have the strangest looking grounding post I've ever seen. It's just a threaded screw is what it looks like. So if you have a tabbed grounding wire, I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to connect it to that. If you have a bare wire, then you can just wrap it around there. There is an aux input as well as the USB and audio output connections. I'm really confused on that grounding post because this is a ceramic cartridge. It doesn't require a preamp, and there is no built-in preamp. So with that in mind, there is no reason why you would need a grounding post. At least none that I can think of right now. Now, granted, I didn't have the best sleep of my life last night, so there could be something blaringly obvious that I'm missing, but I don't think so. Yeah, that's weird. That's very weird. You know, it's not a half bad looking unit. It is pretty much a full-size plinth, although the platter is small, so it looks kind of bizarre. But let's go ahead and power it on. And we get a little chime from the unit turning itself on. It's flashing between power and Bluetooth. I wonder how it decides if it's going to be in Bluetooth out mode or not. I think, you know what this is probably doing? I haven't even opened the manual. Could probably answer a lot of my questions if I read the manual. This is probably in pairing mode, And then in absence of, pairing to a Bluetooth speaker, it is simply going to be in local mode or non-Bluetooth pairing mode. Let's go ahead just for grins to check the tracking force. I do have my gauge here. So I'm going to turn this on and set it to 0. This will probably track 5 or 6 grams because it's a ceramic that's, okay, it's on ounces. It shouldn't be on ounces. Let's get down to grams. Carat weight, no, grams. There we go. And we're going to zero it out and see what we get. Now I'll tell you how many times I've done this. So make sure the unit is off before you try to balance or measure the counterweight. Okay, let's try this again. So yeah, this will be 5 or 6 grams. And full. So it's pegged it over 5. This particular gauge only goes up to 5, but I've got a 5 gram weight. So what we're going to do is put the 5 gram weight on. Which will take it up to 4.2. This isn't going to be precise. This scale isn't as precise as some of my other ones, but it'll give us a rough idea. So basically 4 plus, it's going to be about 5.5 grams roughly. And like I said, 5 to 6 grams is what these cartridges were designed for. They won't damage your records. They will wear them faster. I know I sound like a broken record, no pun intended when I say that, but every video I get, will this damage my records? Will this damage my records? And damage is a relative term because every time you play a record, you're dragging a diamond through a soft piece of plastic. So no matter what record player you have, you are wearing it down some minute amount every single time you play the record. So what constitutes damage versus wear? You know what I mean? What I always say is this will wear your records faster than a higher end turntable, but only minutely so. And I think that that's a good overview. Let's check the speed consistency while we're at it. I'm not sure. I mean, we'd have to get in there and actually tweak some potentiometers down at the board level in order to probably affect any change based on what we saw underneath. But maybe we'll just luck out and the thing will be dead accurate right out of the box. Okay, here we go. We're going to be looking right here at the 33 RPM ring. And as I rotate the tone arm over to start the rotation, you will see the lines are marching a tad bit to the left, which means it is a hair fast, albeit not too bad. Let's go up to 45, which will be right here. Also a little bit fast, but that's a bit faster than the 33 was. Still probably really wouldn't be all that audible, maybe slightly. And 78 is fast as well. Now listen to this motor noise. Significant motor noise. It is loud. It is quite, the faster it gets, the louder it gets. So speed is not too crazy off. It is fast pretty much across the board. Let's go ahead and play a record. Okay, we are using the ambient front-firing stereo microphone so you can get an actual taste of what this thing sounds like in the room with what is sure to be incredible high-powered stereo speakers built right into the plinth of this record player. This record is a new one that I've never tried using as a test record before, but I really want to do something new. So this is the Norman Luboff Choir. Luboff? And here we go. Lift your heart and soul. You discover nothing's wrong, so sing. Definitely loud. Get under, get out and get under the moon. Yeah, these speakers don't have much range. They're pretty limited. No huge surprise there. This is a brutal Tonearm drum. Sunshine gives me a lovely day. Yeah, it's kind of, the sound is sort of crushed and there's not much detail whatsoever. In this case, I think it comes down more to the amplification and speakers because that cartridge can produce surprisingly good sound if it's handled in the right way. So there could be an impedance mismatch, hard to tell, but not the best sound I've ever heard for sure. When there's too much to do, don't let it bother you. Let's go ahead and connect an external Bluetooth speaker so we can stop that from flashing and give it a little bit of a test on Bluetooth out. Okay, Houston, we have a problem, a major problem But before I get to that, I wanted to show you the manual. And it is a thick manual, mostly because of the fact it's got 5 different languages. But it's a good manual. And I was surprised. It's got instructions on the Audacity piece. It's got obviously specifications. It's got how to take care of a record player. All of that seems to be pretty correct, which I was glad to see. Very surprised to see this, which is instructions on replacing the belt. And not only that, it's got color photographs. So that's really, really cool. What's not cool is the fact that this does not transmit Bluetooth, as it clearly says right here. It says Bluetooth transmitting. That means this is supposed to send Bluetooth out to a speaker, to a device, so you can listen to your records on your Bluetooth speaker. But no, this just has a Bluetooth receiver. So that is, in fact, incorrect on the box back there. This does not send Bluetooth. It only receives it. So you can basically connect your phone and listen to your phone through these lovely speakers, which I really wouldn't want to do. But that's a major problem. They need to get that fixed. That should not say that on the box whatsoever. If you look at the feature list on the side of the box or in the manual, it says with Bluetooth function. But reading through that Bluetooth function, which I can show you, see features, Bluetooth function. And if you read through the instructions, basically it's telling you how to connect your phone and play Bluetooth on this device. So that's a huge bummer, huge bummer, because that is a feature that people would want. And I don't like the idea of people thinking they're getting it when that does not happen. So not good. But hopefully this was just interesting. Hopefully this was just an interesting adventure as we discovered yet another record player. So far, 5-6 years going on this channel, and I'm not getting bored of checking out new record players.